In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what separates a research problem from a research gap because they are not the same thing, and treating them as if they are is one of the fastest ways to confuse your committee and style your proposal. We'll cover three things. First, what our research problem actually is. Second, what the research gap really means in the literature. And third, a simple 5-sentence formula you can copy and drop straight into your own proposal. By the end of this video, you'll be able to articulate your problem and your gap with enough clarity that your purpose statement, your research questions, and your conceptual framework all start to fall into place. Welcome to Quality Coach. I'm Dr. Edwin Brown, founder of Quality Coach. So let's get started. In section 1, what is a research problem? Your research problem describes the underlying issue you want to address. It actually answers the question, what is going wrong, missing, or unclear in practice or understanding. A research problem usually has three elements: a context or setting, a group or phenomenon, a specific issue, challenge, or need. So, for example, many doctoral students struggle to complete their dissertations on time because they feel confused about how to conduct and present qualitative analysis. That is a research problem. It names a group, which is the doctoral students, a context, the dissertation completion, and an issue, confusion about qualitative analysis. Section 2, what is a research gap? Now let's discuss the research gap. Notice the difference. Your research gap is not the same as the problem. The gap sits inside the literature. It answers the question, what have previous studies not fully addressed about this problem? Where the problem points to a real conceptual issue, the gap points it to the limitations in existing research around that issue. In other words, the gap is the space in the literature where your study fits. So, for example, if the problem is that doctoral students struggle with qualitative analysis, the gap might be that few studies have explored how doctoral students actually learn and develop confidence in thematic analysis while writing chapter 4. The first statement describes the problem in practice. The second statement describes what the literature has not done. If you notice, they are connected, but they are not the same thing. Section 3, how they relate. You can think of it like this. The research problem is the why behind your study. The research gap is the where your study will plug into the literature. You always start with the problem. What is happening, to whom, and why does it matter? Then you move to the literature and ask, what have researchers already found? What is still unclear? What is unexplored or missing? Your study should sit at the intersection of a meaningful problem and a clear gap. A strong dissertation doesn't chase a random gap that nobody cares about, and it doesn't repeat what is already known about a problem without adding anything new. Section 4, a simple 2-paragraph pattern. Here's a pattern you can use in your proposal paragraph. Describe the research problem. Briefly explain the context and the group. Describe the issue with some evidence, whether it be in statistics, prior work, or observable consequences. And end with, this problem matters. And why this problem matters. For example, doctoral students often experience confusion and uncertainty when conducting qualitative data analysis, particularly when moving from codes to themes. And presenting findings in chapter 4, this confusion can delay, reduce confidence, and contribute to extended time to completion. And as a result, understanding how students learn and apply qualitative analysis is an important concern for doctoral education. Transition from the problem to the literature, summarize what previous research has already examined, show what is still missing, finish with a statement that leads directly to your study. For example, although prior studies have examined qualitative analysis methods and provide technical guidance on coding and theming, limited research has focused on your doctoral students develop confidence and skill in applying thematic analysis. During dissertation writing, few studies explore students' lived experiences of learning to present themes clearly in chapter 4. This gap suggests a need for qualitative research that examines how doctoral students understand, apply, and communicate thematic analysis within the dissertation process. Notice how the first paragraph focuses on the real world issue and the second paragraph moves into the literature. Section 5, common mistakes. A common mistake that at least I know I made is using research problem and research gap interchangeably early in my doctoral work. And I assumed that stating the problem automatically covered the gap, and my committee caught it immediately. Here are a few mistakes to avoid using research problem and research gap interchangeably. Describing only the problem and never showing what the literature has or has not done. Claiming a gap without evidence, such as saying no research exists when you have not shown what you've reviewed. Stating a gap that is so broad or vague that it cannot realistically be addressed in one study. And your committee wants to see that you understand both the practical significance, the problem, and the scholarly significance and the gap. Section 6, quick formula you can reuse. You can use this simple set of sentences as a template. The problem addressed in the study is, number 2, the problem is important because, number 3, existing research has examined, number 4, however limited research has addressed, number 5, the gap indicates a need to explore. If you can fill in these 5 lines clearly and specifically, you are already ahead of many doctoral students. So your research problem explains what is wrong or missing in practice or understanding, and your research gap explains what the literature has not fully addressed about that problem. And when you keep those rows clear, your proposal becomes much easier to write and defend. And remember, when your problem and your purpose and your question align, your study becomes stronger and it's easier to defend. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe and share with another student researcher. And if you want a step-by-step guide to building every section of your qualitative dissertation, I encourage you to explore the Qualitative Research Journey Workbook, which you'll find the link in the description. And thank you for watching. I hope I'll see you in the next module.